City News is brought to you by East Brewster Lawyers Rotoru, celebrating 100 years of legal excellence and innovation.
Kia ora Rotoru, ahead in tonight's bulletin. Bay of Plenty Regional Councillor Lyle Thurston says he'll be recommending free bus services for Christmas again this year. The Task Force for Jobs nationwide mayoral network meets here on Friday, and nearly 8 million US TV viewers see the romantic side of Rotorua on the new series of The Bachelor. Bay of Plenty Regional Councillor and Chairman of the Public Transport Committee Lyle Thurston says he'll be recommending free bus services for Christmas again this year. Free bus services ran from Monday the 23rd of December to Sunday, January the 5th.
But it was a gesture. It hadn't been done in Rotorua before. It had been done in the Western Bay of Plenty. And it was, I think, fair to say, a phenomenal success. And numbers doubled. I think for that 10-day period that the free services were offered, I think patronage leapt something like 17,000. So it was a phenomenal success. And I will certainly be pushing, as will be my local colleagues, to see that it's repeated next year.
Was it a bit of a Christmas gift?
Well, it was a big thank you. It was a big thank you to the bus patrons in Rotorua, and also, dare I say, a little teaser to those who'd never used public transport before, and I think those are the numbers in particular that boosted it up to the near on 17,000. So, no, it was a great success, and I think, but we must acknowledge our provider, Reesby's Buses. You can't do this on your own, and it was a joint effort between the provider and Bay of Plenty Regional Council.
Rotorua Mayor Steve Chadwick will welcome mayors from across the country on Friday when she opens a meeting of the national group, Mayor's Task Force for Jobs. The task force is a nationwide network of mayors and is focused on improving youth employment and engagement in local communities. Mayor Chadwick says she's proud to be hosting this week's meeting as she has a personal interest in achieving stronger levels of youth employment and more training opportunities. The Sir George Seymour College of Travel and Tourism is celebrating success as 3 local students have been chosen for internships at Disney World in Florida in the USA. The boys leave in June and are, of course, very excited.
The main excitement for me comes from experiencing such a large place like the US. More focused on Florida in particular. I've never been to the US before, so that's the real exciting factor for me. As well as getting a chance to know different cultures and different backgrounds. I mean, there are a huge amount of people that not only visit Disney World, but who are also working there from different countries, so that's very exciting as well.
I'm Hirani Fortuny. I'm growing up from a small kiwifruit town of Te Puke, all the way down there. I've really liked entertaining people a lot. I've done a lot of MC work, and now that I've been accepted into the Disney World program, it's given me a chance to really enjoy it now and take grasp of that.
Nearly 8 million viewers tuned in to see the romantic side of Rotorua yesterday as the hit primetime TV series The Bachelor went to air in the US. Rotorua was chosen as the location for The Bachelor to have intimate dates at Te Puia and Ogo during the show's feature episode on New Zealand. The Tourism New Zealand International Media Program and Destination Rotorua Marketing worked closely with The Bachelor production team to coordinate filming, which took place here in October of last year. In sport tonight, the Chiefs Rugby Club has announced their new board to take over the governance of the Chiefs under the new licence agreement recently issued by New Zealand Rugby. The new board is comprised of 5 independent directors and 2 investor appointees. Chiefs CEO Andrew Flexman says the new board members provide a strong mix of commercial and rugby experience and provide good representation across the Chiefs region. And if you'd like to win tickets to the Chiefs pre-season game this Friday at the International Stadium, visit the TV Rotorua Facebook page. To your weather update now. Tonight will be fine with westerlies and an overnight low of 10. Tomorrow, Thursday, fine spells with westerly breezes, a high of 21 and a low of 12. And the outlook for Friday, increasing fine spells, easing westerlies, a high of 21 and a low of 9. And the marine forecast for Lake Rotoru, westerly 10 knots rising to 15 knots for a time in the afternoon, with waves less than half a metre, fine spells with a brief morning shower. Remember, for program listings and other info, or to catch up on city news, you can visit our website tvrotorua.co.nz. Still to come tonight in City News, we catch up with District Councillor Karen Hunt, Kitty talks with Tash Ormsby about training for our youth, and Alan Solomon is with Francis Piles at Grow Rotorua.
Well, it is a beautiful day here in front of the council. We're in the government gardens, and I'm joined now by Karen Hunt, who is not only a member of council, but she is also in charge of our inner city and the revitalisation and the excitement that's happening in there. Hi, Karen. Nice to be with you.
Hi, Kerry. Nice to be here too.
So we do have a beautiful city. There's not much we could do to improve it, but what are we going to try and do to improve it?
Well, actually, there's a huge amount that we, as residents, can do, and partly that's how we view and feel about the spaces we live in. Now, our city has served us well. We know we have a history as a tourist destination, an iconic one for the country, but it's not enough to rest on our laurels. We must now design our city for the future, and cities are changing. How our old CBD, the Central Business District, that title no longer fits, because that isn't just the only thing people want in their cities. They want to live in there, they want to recreate, they want green spaces, they want parks, they want to ride their bikes, their mobility scooters, their skateboards, a whole range of things, and our city needs to change to accommodate that.
I love that. She's not ageist, everybody. She said skateboards and mobility scooters. We're looking after everybody. So it is a hard task, one would think, with so much development happening in the outskirts, to try and keep the heart really pumping. How are you facing that challenge?
I think that actually that's an opportunity. You can see it as an obstacle. I see the revitalisation of our neighbourhood hubs as a natural progression of people wanting to shop in their neighbourhoods. Now, traditionally, we did all of our shopping in our inner city. We went to the supermarket, the dry cleaners, bought our loaf of bread. And on one level, those aren't necessarily inner city activities. So those are neighbourhood activities. The sort of activities people want to do in the inner city, they want to meet for lunch, coffee, they want to view some art, they want some activities to witness or be part of. They want to feel that space reflects their changing desires and needs. And so while it has left a number of gaps in our inner city, this is a global trend, and what will set us apart is how we manage that.
What are some of the other ideas that you've got in terms of revitalising that inner city?
Well, there's many layers. There's the layers that you and I, when we walk into town, we're meeting friends, we're going to work, that we notice. And those are, I like to think of that as sort of the icing on the cake, or the physical layers, and then there are many layers underneath that. So on the physical layer point, which is the sort of easy and more noticeable aspect, or the tip of the iceberg, things that we have already done. We've had the pop-up gallery, we've had chalk art, there are murals planned, as well as some yarn bombing. There's going to be yarn bombing at Rave, and we hope to yarn bomb one of the buildings. So there are activities, music, performance, getting some weaving happening in town, those sorts of things that people can stop either watch or engage in. And then there are the other levels of, how do we use this space? How does our transport help or hinder us to get to the places we want to get to? Is it going too fast or too slow? So that's a much broader picture. So our opportunity is to have a number of engaging things monthly that the residents feel, wow, this is my city and look what's happening, as well as our larger events, of which we're well known for. And then there's the deep planning to move how we use those spaces with consultation. And that's the biggest key. So the most recent initiative is we have set up the Ideas Bank, So on our council website, you go in and you look at the ideas bank and you log an idea. So you have an idea of something that you think is fantastic. You get to say if you want to be involved, if you want to be consulted, and we're now working through how they will be judged on whether they're expensive or not, whether they're a just do it, and all of those sorts of things. So
Involving the community like that is just wonderful, and that's really what a community is about, isn't it? Because no one really wants to live in a town where everyone else makes the decisions. It's nice to feel like you can have some input into it.
for me, it's a natural progression of when I was younger and communities did a lot, and then and council did less, and then families got busier, both parents worked, and so the community involvement was less, so councils did more. And now, for me, we're doing a rebalancing. And we used to do this. Now we're doing this. It truly is tato, we're together. That's our aim. And with Mike Steiner and Ron Finn and the Inner City Focus Group happening, we've got other groups meeting to talk about youth and older persons, making us an age-friendly city. There is enormous synergies happening, and a lot of these ideas have been seeding. And really our opportunity is to plant the seeds of change and know that when the timing is right, they will come up. We must nurture those. And we are, for the first time, on the threshold of an opportunity to truly revision our city and reposition it, both in the eyes of the world and in our own hearts.
That's amazing, and what a time to be here and to be involved. It must be very exciting for you.
Oh, look, I'm thrilled to bits. I've been wanting to do this. Anyone who knows me know that I carry around photographs of city art and beautiful places, and I show them and I talk to anybody about that, because where we live, I feel very much represent how we feel about ourselves, both personally and as a community. So the opportunity to work with and talk to people and listen and hear what they want, and to help shape collectively together our future. I couldn't be happier, really. I really am in the right place at the right time.
Well, that is a wonderful place to finish it. Thank you so much, Karen, for your time in this beautiful spot, and I look forward to all of the work that you've got ahead of you this year. It's going to be hard, but it's going to be very, very worth it, I'm sure.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Kia ora, welcome back. Unemployment in Rotoru is a big issue. We have some of the highest rates of unemployment in the country. We're here at Sir George Seymour College, who are responsible for training our young people to get them out and into work. They've had a lot of success. We're here to interview the Manager of Studies, the Director of Studies, Tash Ormsby. Hi, Tash.
Hi, Kitty, how are you?
Good, thank you. So what is your secret?
So what we do is we have a very big employment focus on campus. Looking at last year's success from our first year, we had an 86 employment rate. So we hit that by March the following year, so that's very successful for us, and 70% of those are directly employed in the industry in Rotoru.
And it's a big industry, isn't it? I mean, this is the hub of tourism for the country. How important is it that our young people are getting good training to be able to have a part in that?
Very important. The industry come to us with certain criteria that they want to see our students come out with, so we very much cater to what they're wanting. They give us a list of being passionate and enthusiastic and things, so we do whatever we can to do that. Our employment focus starts pretty much from the day that they walk in the door. We have a 95% attendance policy, so we try and get them work ready. We're all about gearing them towards the workforce, so we make it very real life for them, not that it's just training, it's all about getting ready for the workforce.
And in terms of the conditions here with employment, because it's a hard market to find a job these days, do you believe that you're able to help people who otherwise wouldn't have been able to find work into jobs?
Yeah, absolutely. I can think of a number of students that, I often think, what would they have been doing? And now they've got really good jobs in the industry, they've staircased on, they're doing really well. So I think it is really important that especially our youth are getting the kind of training that can see them going into tourism jobs, and using things like their te reo and things like that as an advantage for them to be in the industry and sell our country in Rotorua to the tourists.
And coming from Rotorua, because we are so tourist-minded, has that given these students anything over and above students that may have, say, come from Kawerau. Sorry, Kawerau, but you know, somewhere that's not well known.
Yeah, sure. We find with a lot of our students, they have been doing concerts or they've worked in the industry, so they have a really good knowledge already about hosting people. Generally, you know, our background is that we are hosts, so they have that. So it's just about adding to that and giving them more so they can take it out into the industry. We have lots of employment units that we do as well, so that's a big focus for us, making sure they have a good CV, making sure they can interview properly, knowing the steps that they need to take to get to their dream job, which is their first job in the industry.
And do a lot of these students from here come out into jobs in Rotorua, or are you sending them out throughout the country and the world?
To be honest, we have sometimes a little bit of a hard job getting them out of Rotorua. They really want to stay here. They've got good family foundations and things, so mostly our jobs are here, but we do encourage them to get out of Rotorua, go to Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch, Queenstown, even go abroad if they can.
Is it an easy market to find jobs in? Are there jobs in hospitality and tourism in Rotorua that are still available?
I believe yes. I think from our reputation and what we've sort of provided to the industry, we now have, I can think of a certain hotel chain that they just don't interview or they don't advertise anymore. They come directly for us for their staff. So for them that's very easy. They know they're getting quality. We send them straight to them the next day and they're interviewing. So I think yes, but more as we grow and we get really good students out there, it's more about the industry being really hungry for our students, which is what we're hoping to do.
Now we have a new mayor on board, Steve Tabor. Congratulations. She has said that she would like to make Rotorua the Spa of the Pacific. How do you think she's going to be able to do that?
Well, I think it's probably a very big approach. I think from what we can do is we can just provide just people that can deliver really good customer service and give the experience to the tourists that helps sell our destination through word of mouth and helps people keep coming back and back for more.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Tash Ormsby. We appreciate your time and good luck with the rest of the year and all of those wonderful students that you're pumping out.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you again after the break.
G'day, Rotoru is hosting a two-day workshop on the 18th and 19th of February, and it's all about helping geothermal landowners find out what they can do to boost their profits from the land. And we're going to catch up with CEO Francis Powles and find out what's going to happen at the workshops and the different industries involved. Appreciate your time today, Francis. Now, obviously, this workshop's got to be important for landowners who have geothermal under their property and things like that. What sort of hours, what sort of work have you guys put in to put these workshops together?
Yeah, we've been at this for probably a couple of months, but you know, working with iwi support agencies and the government agencies talking about the concept. It was interesting how it all started. We decided we get this guy John Lund out here, you know, because he's the world guru, and that's as far as we thought we'd go, and we put on a workshop for people after that, but the whole thing's just grown like topsy anyway.
Yeah, he's been advising people about geothermal for 35 years, so yes. I guess you've got the right guy.
Oh, I think so, yeah. What happened when we said we were going to bring him out, GNS got hold of it and said, well, we want to be interested, you know, we want to be involved. Ministry of Business and Innovation heard about it through the Maori strategy, and they said, well, we want to be involved. So yeah, he's from Klamath Falls in Oregon, which is actually a sister city of Rotorua. Runs the Geo Heat Centre there, yeah, so he's sort of he's the worldwide guru. So he's been a phenomenal draw card that I think's helped the popularity of the workshop.
Yeah. Now the workshop's over a couple of days next week. What sort of things are you going to be discussing?
Well, there's quite a big agenda there. The best idea is if people go and have a look on the Bay of Connections website and have a look at that agenda. But the real focus is where this has come from is people have looked at geothermal and said, well, we need to team up with a power company. They've got to build a big power plant, you know, and we'll stop there, or we'll use the waste energy, waste heat that comes off it. But the power companies are telling us that there isn't a lot of demand for big power stations, and around here we don't seem to have what I'd call industrial strength geothermal resources. You know, if you look at Kawerau, Taupo, big fields, big flows. So we have to look at applications that are nearer the surface, lower temperature maybe, you know, a lot more benign than a great big shiny power station.
Do you think, this is probably a little bit off the topic, but do you think the government's asset sales of our power stations is going to have any influence of any of the stuff that you guys have been working on?
No, I don't think so, because we're looking at a total different area. You know, I think before the power sales, power company sales, you know, organisations like, I know Meridian, they're not so much into geothermal, but they were doing innovative stuff off to the side, and it sort of sounds like a lot of that is sort of slowed down because they just, you know, slim the business down for sale, really. But where we are looking at has nothing to do with, you know, those power companies, except that the advisors in there, like GNS and some of the engineers and that sort of thing, are the same people that would help us. So in terms of how you harness the geothermal or drill for it and those sorts of things, it's those same people, but very, very different industry.
What was your reaction when you found out that the EECA and Te Puni Kōkiri were going to jump on board? That must have been a pretty good, you know, success for you guys.
Oh, it's fantastic, and it's how we like to work and grow Rotoru, and we have to, otherwise we sort of, it gets a bit embarrassing because it gets a bit like revolving doors, you know, where we tend to look at, could be looking at the same opportunities, but this is a real model going forward. We've got another workshop next week working with the iwi agencies, but this is the way to really get the leverage and get everyone focused on the same thing, you know.
Looking long term, Francis, if there is landowners out there that have geothermal, have you got an idea what sort of cost it's going to, you know, that's going to be put on them to tap into that sort of geothermal resource?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how it works out per metre, but if you're putting a board down for, say, domestic application or motel or whatever, and you need a re-injection bore as well, you know, you're talking about $50,000 for each of those, so about $100,000. But if you're going down to a bit of serious depth, it could be up to $1 million. Someone I know is doing one in Australia. They're going down 600 metres. That's about $1 million Australian dollars. You know, if you're doing something really serious like they've done out at Tahiki, that's probably towards 8 to 10 million for
wow.
And this is part of the issue, is people just don't have that sort of money, you know. So if we can do some work that makes it a lot more or a lot less risky, you know, a lot less cost, and that's going to encourage people to get into those different applications.
Now, final question, Francis. Obviously, if people want to come to this, they can register at the Bay of Connections website. Is there a cost to coming to the workshop?
Yes, there is. Because of the sponsorship that we've been able to get, it's really, really great value. I think it is. It's $195. That's the early bird special. So if they jump in quick, which is, you know, normally these conferences cost maybe $1,000 or something like that. But the people will get basically a how-to kit out of it, so I think it's going to be fantastic value. Yeah.
Good stuff. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
That was Grow Rotoru CEO Francis Pales talking to Alan Solomon. And we'd love to hear from you. If you have any news or information that you'd like to share with us, give the station a call on 07 3488 984 or email news@tvrotorua.co.nz. Thanks for watching tonight. From all the team at City News, Maria.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.
City News was brought to you by East Brewster Lawyers Rotorua, celebrating 100 years of legal excellence and innovation.